Okay, so this is an interesting video because I'm not one that usually does reviews and stuff like that. But Jurassic World Rebirth is a movie that we are talking about today, and as a Jurassic Park and Jurassic World fan, I did not like this movie. Actually, I liked it, but also like very small amounts of this film I liked. Now, this is all spoilers. This is me talking about the movie. So if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it first if you haven't. Or if you just want me to spoil it, I'll let you know why I don't like this movie. Then just keep watching. So, first and foremost, beginning of the movie, okay? I get it. You have to have a plot, you have to have the people meet, and you have to have the people go to the island type of situation. However, it was so fast paced at the beginning, I was like, wow, there really just wasn't enough plot, in my opinion. Because, like, the two people meet in the vehicle, and it's like, how did she know that he was there? Number one. Number two, they also went to the paleontologist guy really fast as well, because it, like, cutscene, boom, done, you know? It's like me editing videos. It's just, you crop it, and it's there. So it kind of just felt very rushed, in my opinion. The one thing I can say, like, during that, like, small little part is that when they showed the apatosaur, which is, a sauropod, and that it was, like, dying in the city, at least they explained that, hey, the dinosaurs have to be moved into near the equator, where the oxygen is better for the dinosaurs and it's hotter and humider for the dinosaurs to thrive, which is when the dinosaurs, roam the earth. It was warmer climate and all that, which is why they thrive in that type of weather. And that's why dinosaurs around the globe were dying and you weren't seeing that many in cities and stuff like that anymore, which makes sense. Now, the second party of people meeting up with the first set of people, in my opinion, should never have happened. I think what should have happened is they had a giant military go with them altogether, even though I know you want to have as, minimum of people so that you can get these, 3 objectives done for the DNA samples that you need. However, I just find that there was, like, not enough carnage going on, if that makes any sense in the film. As people that have seen the film kind of might understand what I mean by that. Between people dying, people running away, people, just getting killed left and right. When I think of Jurassic Park, I always think of the first one, Indominus Rex. Incredible. I love that movie a lot. As a dinosaur nerd, I'm like, hell yeah, this was great. The D-Rex, okay. I thought when they first opened the scene of the D-Rex, I think that it shouldn't have been so fast about that. Because that was, I'm pretty sure, the first thing you see is the D-Rex. Which, I mean, Jurassic World did that with the Indominus Rex. However, it was a baby, okay? The D-Rex was in its full form, 4 arms, the mouth, and everything, and it taking the guy and leaving with him. So it's like, okay, we got to see him literally in the first couple minutes. Now, to get back to the 2 sets of characters, okay? So we meet the second pair of characters, which is the 2 daughters, the one daughter's boyfriend, and then the father, which are all on a sailboat, and they get, the ship's capsizes because a mosasaur swipes it and wants to eat them. Number one, I have no idea how they survived the entire night after that happened, because yes, they survived the night, and it did not show any of that happening. And we only know this because of the other scene when they're talking about when the professor and that one girl are talking on the boat. It is nighttime. It is nightfall. And there's lightning in the distance and all of that. Okay, cool. But how did they survive that? If the mosasaur just kind of just capsized it and they're sitting on that boat through the entire night when there's a storm, mind you, what happened there? I want to know. How did they survive the night? Because the boat capsized. And then they used the call, I'm assuming in the morning, and I don't know. There's just so much missing there, in my opinion. I did like the scene with the mosasaur and the boat and it chasing them through like the giant rocks and all of that towards the island. That was pretty cool. What I didn't understand was how they, majority of them, survive the waters if there's a mosasaur trying to kill them left and right. And the one scene where the daughter falls off, the boyfriend goes to get her. The mosasaur could have easily went back and ate them. Could have easily done that because they were still in the the depths of the water was still where the mosasaur could be. Because yes, they're trying to get to the shallow waters so that the mosasaur won't be there. However, they weren't at the shallow part yet. They were getting there. And they hopped off the boat sooner than they should have. And they didn't get eaten. Or the Spinosauruses didn't come and eat them at that time. Very, confusing there. After all of that happens with the mosasaur, they get onto the island. And they have to go to the Titanosaur. This scene made absolutely no sense, okay? Titanosaurs are massive dinosaurs. These things are massive, okay? Hundreds of feet long. They're massive, okay? This grass was literally just barely under the height of the group, okay? So let's say 5 foot tall grass. How does a 100-foot dinosaur hide in 5 foot grass? These things, again, are massive, and they just come out of nowhere, out of the grass. This makes absolutely no sense. How does this happen? Very confused, okay? I get it. They're giant dinosaurs, and you have to get the DNA samples. Why didn't they just, go and find them and be like, oh, there's a flock over there, Cool. Let's walk to them and get the sample. Not, they're just going to come out of the grass, sprouting like weeds, and there we go. There's our sample. Bang, boom. We got the sample. Not only that, this scene should have had a D-Rex, in my opinion, because we talked about the D-Rex. Why wasn't the D-Rex hunting these things if this mutated Tyrannosaurus Rex isn't killing things this large, okay? It's got 4 arms, it's got 2 legs, it's a giant. It's got a giant mouth, it's got eyes, it can see, obviously. Why didn't it hunt these things in this scene? There should have just been more, I think. After all this is occurring, the entire situation with the other group, as in the father, the 2 daughters, and the boyfriend, going to this swampish area with a dead Parasaurolophus corpse on the side because the daughter swims through the water to find this boat. Turns out she can't get the boat because it's a big boat. She can't just push it off the dock. And there's a Dilophosaurus. It runs away, and there's a freaking T-Rex right next to this person, okay? And it's just okay, T-Rex is just gonna eat her. No, that's not what happens at all. There's just a raft that she just tows out by hand, mind you. And it's she's making so much noise. How is this T-Rex still asleep? Because yes, the T-Rex is asleep. And you think, oh, it's gonna wake up. No, it doesn't. It doesn't wake up at all. Until she opens the raft on land, because that's what it says on the package, because camera angles and all that, and it's oh, look at this, it has to be opened on land. So yes, she opens it on land, it expands, it wakes up the T-Rex, but the T-Rex doesn't even focus on that. It goes, it turns around and drinks water. Okay, great, love that. So they get onto the raft, and that's when the T-Rex notices. It's like, oh, great, yeah, of course, that's what happens. Then they go down the stream. It's like, okay, T-Rex chase swim scene, kind of cool, unique, but doesn't even pop the damn raft when it bites down on it. They couldn't even get that right. That a T-Rex with giant teeth could just pop it. But yeah, when that all happens, I'm like, okay, this is just getting on my nerves now. That these 4 people haven't just been murdered by not only a mosasaur, but also a T-Rex, which could have easily capable of killing them. More could have happened, in my opinion. More people could have just, died. But no, they just decided not to have a military for that purpose. So yeah, the next scene after that would have been the Quetzalcoatlus. I know that's, some people say Quetzalcoatlus, and then there's another way of saying it, but that's just how I've known how to say it. So I'm sorry for the people out there that are going to be like, hey, what's this? No, I just call it a Quetzalcoatlus because that's just how I've pronounced it since day one. So that's what it's going to be known as. So when they're going to go and find the eggs, I honestly didn't think that it was embryo eggs that they were going to go for. I thought that they were going to go for the actual pterosaur, not the actual eggs. So it's like, oh, okay. They're going to, try and find one of these things on the ground and try to trank it so they can get the DNA sample and whatnot. No, that's not what happened at all. They go into the nesting area of one of these to grab an embryo to get the DNA from. And I thought that was kind of odd that they weren't getting actual blood DNA from this thing instead. So the mother Quetzal obviously comes in, gets mad, starts trying to attack them, trying to kill them. It does eventually eat one of them. But I don't know. There was just a lot there, and it was just like, wow, that was an exciting scene. But why wasn't there more of them? Because usually they're kind of more in packs than just one. So seeing just one was a little odd. So yeah, after the Quetzal scene, oh yeah, the scientist guy falls, and I thought that was gonna be the end of that guy too, because it was a massive fall. He should have just died. He didn't die. He got caught by a whole bunch of tree leaves, dropped into a puddle of water, with some compies on the side, and was like, wow, he survived. I thought he was gonna die. He did not. He didn't die from that large fall into the puddle of water. With compies that were there, and if you know about the original Jurassic Park movies, you know that compies are very feisty little shits that'll swarm in packs and kill you. Because it's happened before. And I thought, wow, that's what might just happen to this guy. Nope, that doesn't happen with that guy either. No, still alive. Now, once we get to the area of the facility, I was like, all right, nice. We get some more maybe like plotline and stuff like that. And first things first, we see the guy grab a hold of the suitcase, which is like, okay, makes sense. As soon as he used handcuffs on that suitcase, I was like, I know exactly what's going to happen. And I told my younger brother this as well in the theater. I said, watch this, okay? T-Rex is going to come. He's going to eat him. His arm is going to drop with that suitcase, and they're going to be able to have the suitcase again. Sure enough, that's exactly what happens in a later scene. Wasn't surprising to me. That was just simple. Simple plot to just know that was going to happen. Kind of disappointed that that's what happened, but that's exactly what happened. But yes, carrying on from there. They do get inside the facility. They take a look around and they're like, oh, this is where all the experiments are happening and all that. Now, there are like the experimentations of the raptor-esque pteranodons, and I didn't mind the design. I didn't mind that they were attacking them and stuff like that. I was like, yay, more action. But it's like, where was the D-Rex? The D-Rex should have just been like attacking these things left and right if they're making that much noise. It should have been smashing more things. It's got 4 arms, by the way. This thing should just be tearing up the place. It does not. It does barely jack diddly squat. It literally walks around on its 2 legs, its 2 arms just kind of dangle, whatever, and it doesn't do very much at all. Like, the entire chase sequence was mainly with the Pteranodons and, like, the smallest fraction of the D-Rex. Like I said, the movie time with the D-Rex is so minimal in comparison with anything else. I honestly think they should have just had a military, and these military people were just getting like thrown left and right and just absolutely destroyed and annihilated, kind of like in the original Jurassic World film. You know, the Indominus Rex literally throwing havoc left and right, killing dinosaurs, killing people. It was like so much action packed for a film, but this one was just so sad. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, it was just, there was barely anything there, in my opinion. It was just so stale with what they could have done with this film. And to have that separate, like, family and whatnot going into this, they should have just scrapped that entirely and made it so that this was an entire military going through, kind of like the King Kong film. You know, there's a military, they go on an island, they try and, you know, do their research on this island type of situation. I think if they did that exact same situation with getting the DNA samples of these 3 dinosaurs they needed, which was the mosasaur, the titanosaur, and the Quetzalcoatlus, I think that would have been fantastic. They could have done that easily if they, you know, had just one giant team going instead of this random family of 4 that literally stayed alive the entire film, which I was very disappointed in. They should have all been killed by that T-Rex or the mosasaur even, but no, they all lived. And the D-Rex also didn't kill any of them either. And the one guy that was the boater as well since the very beginning, he also survives, when even though he used the flare and he didn't die. I was very surprised that he lived. Yeah, I don't know. I just think this film could have been so much more if they just decided to do things differently. And the one thing I didn't like either is that they didn't really explain much of the mutated dinosaurs as I was hoping. I was like, okay, they're obviously going to get into it at some point. But no, the dude that knew about this island, that knew about the facility, didn't say jack diddly squat either. And it was just like, why are they holding so much detail and plot that they could be saying this entire film throughout the discussions that are happening on the ships, the discussions that are happening between the people while they're on their walk? Like, none of this was explained that much thoroughly. It was just like a few things left and right, and that was about it. You don't hear much at all. So there's just so much missing plot that they could have added into it while they're conversating and walking through, instead of learning about this chick's past experience the entire time. It's like, okay, her mother died. I get that. Oh no, her partner died as well in some accident that happened, which we don't know about. So again, there's just so much plotline that they just kept on missing, and it was just like, where is the plot of like other things happening with this facility, with this island and all of that? What really happened? Why was it there? Why were they making mutated dinosaurs? You know, there's just so many questions that I truly just don't understand. Like, if other people have more of an understanding and want to let me know in the comments, that'd be great. But overall, I was very disappointed in this film. Like, out of all the Jurassic World films, this is the one that I'm just like, I just didn't care for it. It was just depressing of how little there was. I liked the action scenes, don't get me wrong. The action scenes were pretty cool. I just thought this giant monstrosity of a mutated dinosaur that's T-Rex and whatever else, and has 4 arms, should be wreaking havoc on everything. Like, the Indominus Rex, it was like, I am the A-class predator. I'm going to destroy everything and show you what I'm capable of. That is exactly what I thought this thing was. It's like 4 arms, 2 legs, big mouth. It's got to throw some havoc. It did nothing. It killed 1 person. That's my take on things anyway. There was just so much like that could have happened that didn't happen. People that could have been killed that didn't get killed. It was just disappointing. Very disappointing. But that's just my take on it. That's just my opinion. If you like the film, great. I'm glad you liked the film. For me, it was not for me. This film definitely could have been better if they changed things around. But yeah, that's, again, just my take on things. But if you like the film, great. And if you want to let me know some things down in the comments that I missed or needed more explaining to do, let me know. This is just, my first time doing this kind of thing. So, yeah, that's about it. Peace.